Hi, hello there internet, how are you today? So it is Sunday for me, June 23rd, a week and a few days since the Abiball episode aired, and here I am ready to talk about it with you guys. So the first clip that we see is of Mia and Alex. I'm not 100% invested in, but I do have a couple of questions. For those of you guys who watch season 2 or who otherwise follow the show in ways that I do not, is there a particular reason why we haven't seen Mia at school like at all during this season? I mean, we saw her in the last 2 clips of episode 10 and then in this clip in the Abiball special, but I honestly kept forgetting that Mia isn't just Mateo's roommate who he sees occasionally or Alex's girlfriend. She actually like goes to school with him. So is she doing some sort of independent study, or did she like finish classes early, or what the hell happened? I imagine that the actress is busy and that's why she's gonna go to Madrid for 3 months. Conveniently, 2 of those 3 months will be during Amira season. So you may not know this if you haven't seen any of my season 4 videos that I posted back in 2017. Basically, when it was announced that Sana would get season 4, I was like, yes, because I would think to myself, yeah, that episode was good, but you know what it needed to be great? It needed more Sana, and I was like, yes, we're getting a Sana season. I'm gonna get to see her in every goddamn clip. It's gonna be the best thing that's ever happened to television because Sana is my baby. And then I actually went ahead and watched season 4 and like, what kills me is that there's so much potential for it to be amazing, but instead that love triangle with Nora and Yousef and Sana, like, it took up so much more space than was necessary, and it was just frustrating and boring as fuck, and it just made me so mad. And so needless to say, Mia going off to Madrid, I'm not mad about that. I'm not mad at all, which is a very, we're starting out controversial, aren't we? I'm very happy about that, okay? Like, maybe you might not feel the same way because you like Mia and want to see more of her. I'd be happy to see more of her, but not in Amira's season. I'll make another video about like how I feel about season 4 and going into like all of the different remakes, what I would want them to like develop further and what I would like for them to toss in the goddamn garbage. Listen, with the drug, they got rid of Sonia. They realized that they had enough conflicts. They didn't need to overcomplicate things by adding in a Sonia character. That was an amazing choice that they made, and I hope that in season 4 they make another amazing choice and just axe that love triangle and make the central conflict the religious conflict, which is way more interesting than a miscommunication in a love triangle. So clip number 2 is Mateo and David's clip. Well, I guess it's from David's perspective. You know how there's that montage at the beginning of the clip? Was that to show that Mateo isn't the only one being distracted? I think that reverse psychology really worked very well, where he was talking about wanting to date a high school student while he's in university, which is funny because like in a different universe, David's dream of dating somebody while they're still in high school when he's in university, that dream has been realized because the other Evans are 2 years older than their Esocs. Yeah, it was a good clip. I like that Mateo, he's still holding on to that pen. I'm amazed that like hasn't lost it, because I went through so many pens when I was in school. They'd get lost in my bag or lost in my locker or some something, but no, he keeps his favorite pen around, and I'm glad that he's able to keep track of it. So he managed to fail his exam even though he had a cheat sheet. I did not think that that cheat sheet was a good idea. In order for that cheat sheet to work, when you're taking your exam, you would have to memorize all of the questions that you would need to look up later, and then on your way to the bathroom and on your way back, you're supposed to keep all of those questions in your head, not forget about them, not get distracted on the way there or on the way back, and then look through your cheat sheet. Hopefully you wrote that down, but then there's going to be a whole bunch of other information that might confuse you, and then you're going to have to be able to like sift through that, find the exact answers that you need, and then go back and do your exam and have all of those answers written perfectly. And it's like, if you have the brain power to do all of that and to not get distracted, then you might as well just study. It's just so much easier to study beforehand and go into your exam confident. So I'm glad that Mateo decided to take his studying seriously. I know that Carlos even asked Mateo if Mateo had a cheat sheet prepared for him, and Mateo said no. So that shows that my boy Carlos, he was struggling. He was not very confident in his ability to pass. We see that Hanna passes her exam. I'm not sure what that present was that Yousef wanted to give her. Like, what else could be in that tiny little box? Because my brain was like, engagement ring? Oh, and after David's clip dropped, we see them throwing the paper in the air to signify that I guess they graduated and passed their exams or whatever the fuck. But we didn't see Mateo or Carlos, and that had us worried, like, oh my god, that means he didn't pass. But Mateo passed his exam and he was in the video with everybody. He just got cropped out at first so we could feel anxious about whether or not he was gonna graduate. Also, somebody who did pretty well as far as I know, when they show a list of people who are gonna take their exams, I just happened to notice that somebody who was not on that list was Sarah. I was personally a little bit worried about Sarah because Mateo decided to break up with her right before she had her political science exam, but maybe she read that text after she killed it on the political science exam, because it didn't say on that list that Sarah needs to retake her political science exam. So good. I'm glad that Mateo breaking up with her did not cause her to fail, and I'm glad that Mateo didn't cause Amira to get a bad grade. I have no idea what 1.2 means, but apparently it's really good judging by everybody's reaction. So I'm glad that she managed to kill it, even though she did not have the best study partner. And she took her exam like after Ramadan had started and she hadn't eaten yet, so good for her. But unfortunately, my boy Carlos, he has seen better days. We did not see him in this episode at all, and it turns out he failed his exam and he doesn't want to do anything with anybody. He doesn't want to go to Abiball anymore. Poor Kiki, who probably spent months thinking that she had a date to Abiball, but then Carlos stood her up. So I think that apart from this whole exam situation, Carlos has a few other reasons to be worried. One, his crush Abdi has moved on. He managed to talk to Sam.
Sam, ich will mit dir Geschlechtsverkehr haben. Also, oder nochmal rumknutschen. Also für mich geht das voll in Ordnung, wenn das für dich in Ordnung geht.
I think that little conversation was funny for so many reasons. One, the look on Sam's face after Opti said that he wanted to sleep with her. Two, there was that glass that just broke in the background. Three, Abdi's smile at the end of it. And then the fact that Abdi kept talking about his tongue while Alex just walked by, and he just acknowledged Alex and kept on talking. But I guess he might have been in some way, shape, or form successful, because later she said that he could be her booty call. So that's actually, I don't know if that's good or not because he didn't look super excited by that, but I think that's his own damn fault. If he wanted to actually date her, he should have asked her out on a date. He shouldn't have just said, I want to have sex with you, because that's no, I don't know if she is interested in following through with that because she didn't reply to his text when he was asking like, okay, how's this booty call thing gonna work? Or maybe, you know, she's playing hard to get. Anyway, yeah, so Carlos has to be worried because, you know, his crush may or may not be available for him right now. Anyway, he also has to be worried about Kiki because since he didn't go to Abiball as Kiki's date, guess who swooped in? Amira's brother. This is a very interesting relationship dynamic that I'm seeing with Amira and her brother. I feel like with Sana, she had that colder and more scary edge. Like, I can't imagine Mateo slipping weed into Sana's bag because he would probably be more afraid of her than he'd be afraid of the cops who came to crash the party. And then I felt like Elias was just like a little bit afraid of Sana, but with Amira, she specifically tells her brother not to come to Abiball, and he comes anyway. She tells him not to embarrass her, and he does the opposite of what she says. So this dude does not give a shit, and he just starts dancing at Kiki while she's still on the phone with Carlos. And good for Kiki, she decided to still have fun and dance even though her boyfriend was not available for her. So yeah, I guess that's good. Oh, but I also want to say something about Amira's brother. So we have two brothers, and did you know that the original Sana also had two brothers? She had Elias and some unnamed brother who was mentioned like once in a text. Okay, so in season 2 of Original Scum, we see Jamila, and Sana says that she's engaged to Sana's brother, and then in season 4 we're introduced to Sana's brother, and Vilda texts Sana and asks, so is that girl your brother's fiance? And she says, no, that would be my other brother. And I kept thinking like, what the hell's going on with that? Because it's so weird that Sana apparently has another brother who's never mentioned. We never hear anything regarding like wedding plans or marriage. So I was wondering if Sana just lied and that maybe it would turn out that Sana's brother Elias is her only brother and that he had been engaged to Jamila, but they called the wedding off, and Sana in some way blames herself because she meddled in that relationship, and it would be this whole big thing, and nothing came of that. So I guess that theory doesn't work, but also it's still really weird that we know nothing about this other brother, or if they ever got married, or if they're planning on getting married. What the fuck? So we get another brother, maybe he's engaged. I hope that we are invited to the fucking wedding. I want to come. I want to see it. My God. So maybe that could be like the big party or the big event that happens at the end of episode 10, right? There will be this big wedding where everyone's invited, and Sarah and Lanny will get together, and Carlos will come to terms with the fact that he's pansexual and he has feelings for Abdi. Oh, right. And speaking of weddings that we're hopefully invited to, or that we need to be invited to, I was thinking to myself, if this is not the last season, we're getting more seasons after this, and we're following the characters through university, and hopefully the show won't end until the characters have all graduated from university. What if by the end of that, Amira and her German Yousef, they get married? Clearly, they're meant to be. We see them look at each other, they say hi, they look at each other, they look away, they look again. Amira chokes on her drink. It's true love. It's true love wins the wedding. Am I invited? I better be, okay? Getting a little too far ahead of ourselves. So, what were the things that I said before that I wanted to see during this Abiball special? And did I get to see what I wanted to see? Well, Leonie is clearly in love with Sarah, and she can make her feelings known for Sarah at the Abiball, and they can go as each other's dates. It appears that Sarah had a date with a guy. I'm sorry, Leonie. I know that you had to go through the whole Hanna and Yousef situation and now this, but still, I think that like nobody is better suited for Leonie than Sarah. I was even looking through their old text when Leonie called Sarah Mouse. I was like, and you know how Sarah, she likes to sing on her Instagram and express her emotions? What if one day she realizes that she doesn't need to waste her time with these basic guys when the person who's perfect for her is just right there? And then maybe she can like sing a Haley Kiyoko song on her Instagram as a way to like, you know, try to serenade and woo Leonie and let her know that they're perfect for each other. That's what's gonna happen in the future, right? So the whole Sarah and Leonie thing unfortunately has not yet worked out. I wanted us to track down Stefan, which I guess we kind of did. Who knows if that's the right Stefan? So back when David was outed via that video, it was some random guy named Stefan saying, oh, have you guys all seen this video? And he just distributed this video to the entire class, apparently not really giving a shit that this might be sensitive information. I was like, at what point are we gonna track down this guy? And I think we found him, kind of. I'm like super confused how we got from Hanna being so smitten by Yousef in the last episode to her suddenly having a boyfriend. Are they really gonna do that thing where, you know, these two characters are in love with each other and they want to be together, but instead of them getting together when it would make sense for them to get together, we just throw in random crap so that they don't get together until like the end of the story? Because that's not what I don't like that. Stepping away from why does Hanna suddenly have this random boyfriend? Who is he? Seriously. Do you think that when David introduced himself as Mateo's boyfriend, even though Mateo didn't introduce himself, so it's like, you know, context, but whatever. He seems like a little cold to me. I kind of got the impression that he didn't like this Stefan guy. Do you think it's because he was wondering, oh, is that the same Stefan who decided to out me to the entire school? Or was he just like that because he really ships Hanna and Yousef and he has no idea why they aren't back together already yet? But anyway, if it is the first one, it turns out that Stefan is the same Stefan who outed David. One of the things that I want season 4 to drop, there are many things that I want season 4 to drop. That fucking sing fight, you know, the fight that happens at the end of episode 5. And then it turns out that Isak has some weird ass jealousy issues where he saw Evan have a conversation with Mikal and he got so overcome with jealousy and possessiveness that he decided to get violent. Like, that's so gross. That's just such a red flag, and no thank you. I was thinking that yes, Mateo does have his jealousy issues that we saw in this season. I did think it was kind of funny just seeing him get really worked up whenever he would see a girl anywhere near David. But David was dancing with Leonie and Mateo didn't completely freak out about that, so I'm like, okay, great. So it looks like the whole jealousy thing just might be in check for now, so maybe he's not gonna start random fights with guys for no reason. But what if the sing fight happens at the end of episode 5 because they find out that this Stefan is that Stefan and he not only filmed David but he also has a bunch of film and stuff on a lot of other students because he's really creepy and films people's private conversations. Yeah, so I guess we'll see how season 4 deals with that. Maybe it's just a coincidence that they're both named Stefan, but maybe not. I guess we'll find out. Okay, so the things that I wanted to see in this Abiball special. Leonie and Sarah be each other's dates. That didn't quite happen. I wanted to see if we could track down Stefan. Kind of happened, maybe. And the third thing, I wanted some silly song to come on that David is really into, and then Mateo can call David the man of his dreams. Well, no, but they were crowned the Abiball couple. I liked that because that led to Mateo getting the tiara, and I loved that little moment of Mateo handing off that tiara to Amira. The perfect transition into Amira's season, and I can't wait. I hope that they do it justice. Yeah, so I am excited definitely for Amira's season, but that excitement is definitely laced with a lot of fear and anxiety. No pressure, Druck, no pressure, but you do have my favorite Sana, and if you fuck up her season, I will cry. But I have some faith. They did a really good job with Mateo's season. I know I said some things in that episode 8 discussion video, but apart from that, they made a lot of really good choices, and I definitely think that the good choices outweigh some of the things that I don't quite like. So if you guys thought that I was like too hard on this show with season 3, season 4, it might be worse. I don't want to be negative. I definitely want to be positive, but I have a little bit less confidence because they're adapting a story that had potential, definitely, but definitely had a lot of shit that I hated. So sorry if I was like too controversial in the beginning and shit. I have heard theories about, oh, but what if they recycle the love triangle and make another character a part of that love triangle? And I was like, hell no, please just don't. It added nothing to the story. Whereas the religious conflict, if they had like stuck with it and had the characters continue to talk to each other throughout the entire season and not just talk to each other like 3 times, that added so much. Oh, and quick side note, I very much appreciate all of the Germans who like, you know, add their cultural insights and whatnot, and definitely the ones who translate the show. I don't know if you guys know this, but the drug translations team, they're looking to expand their team. So all the Germans watching this, if you like subtitling videos, maybe you can help them out if you want to. So yeah, see you in season 4.